Let us call up from an earlier time an iron master, one who learned from the ground up. Obviously, the ore had to be removed from the ground, so whether it was found right on the surface or had to be mined, the first step was...
Digging!
Yes, digging. The ore was often found in more or less inconvenient places, so the next thing to be done was...
Hauling!
That's right, hauling. The next step, a most important one, was...
Smelting!
That's correct. Smelting, getting the iron out of the ore. For this, a large furnace, often made of stone, was necessary. There had to be huge bellows to blast air through and make the fire hotter. And there also had to be...
Charcoal and limestone!
Correct. Charcoal and limestone. The charcoal was fuel for the fire. And while our friend here didn't know it, it also furnished carbon for chemical reactions that helped free the iron in the ore. The limestone was put in because it soaked up impurities, forming a slag which could be discarded. The smelting process was begun by dumping layers of ore, limestone, and charcoal into the furnace. Into the furnace. Finally, the blast furnace was ready to be tapped, and the iron, which was now melted, ran out the bottom into a trench. Since this rather resembled a family of little pigs, the iron came to be called pig iron. Now the iron had to be turned into something useful, and casting the molten metal was one of the ways this was done. When it cooled, this cast iron was very hard, and many useful items could be made from it. However, it was not practical for some things because it was quite brittle. In another method of converting it into useful form, bars of the iron could be reheated and refined in forges and beaten into various objects. Called wrought iron, this kind was strong and tough and could be made into other useful items. However, for some things, it was too soft. Obviously, there was a difference in the two kinds of iron. Our friend didn't know exactly why this was, but he learned that he could make even another kind by putting the soft iron in clay pots, adding a certain amount of charcoal or other carbon, and making his fire hot enough to melt the iron. Getting enough heat was difficult, but this was the secret of the process. The iron he obtained this way was very special, for it combined the best qualities of the others. It was even given a special name, steel. It could be shaped by hand. It was supple and flexible and would not shatter. Yet it was hard and tough and would stand up under difficult conditions. But because it could be made only in small quantities, steel was rare and precious, worth its weight in gold. Even as late as the founding of the colonies in America, steel was very scarce.